do it live.
All right, here we are. So we're going to do another 5.
Yep.
What are our 5 this time?
We're gonna focus on heist movies, and
Heist films,
and I'm gonna say it right out front. Heist films are different from crime films, even though many crime movies have to do with heists.
With heists, but my criteria was the heist is the only thing in the film. There's only one heist in the film.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now there may be other like peripheral things that are happening, but it's really dedicated to one heist.
To the heist.
Other question: have you heard about this film called Rafifi?
I've heard about it, but I've actually never seen it. I heard it's terrific.
That's what somebody at work told me, and I guess there's a 20-minute heist in here with no music and no dialogue, which is supposed to be pretty amazing.
Yeah, it reminds me of there's a Jean-Pierre Melville film that I saw years and years ago called The Red Circle. Same kind of thing, like the big climactic heist. It's like 30 minutes long, and there's no speaking.
That's
it's
amazing.
Completely silent.
I can't wait to see it. It's a Criterion,
but it's amazing how the tension in that movie is built. I want to check that one out. I've heard about it, but not seen it.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to just start right away with the first one, Taking of the Pelham 1, 2, 3. Now, we've done this on the show.
Really?
I think it's one of the first ones we ever did on the Yippee-Ki-Yay
I was not on
podcast.
that one. But
So let me talk about that one. I'll give the plot, and then we can jump in.
Sure.
And everybody knows Taking of the Pelham 1, 2, 3. There's been a remake by Tony Scott. There's also been one on TV.
There's a TV remake,
right, which is
Connie
crazy.
Selica, I think.
No, I don't think she was in it, but
maybe
Vincent D'Onofrio played
right,
the Mr. Blue. No, Mr. Gray. What was Robert Shaw? I forget his. I should know. I think he was Mr. Gray.
He was Mr. Gray.
All right, so everybody knows the film. It's about a bank. A train. They kidnap a train, take over a train, and they want to ransom New York City.
Right.
And it's made in 1972. Classic New York City, 1972, which was dirty and grungy, and people were mad all the time. All the people in the subway train are all characters. There's sex workers, there's drunks, there's the black guy from Vietnam, there's a hippie in there, there's a woman home, doing all that stuff. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful heist film with zero backstory about the people in the film. Like, you don't know anything.
No, you don't know anything.
You kind of figure it out, but,
It's so well done. And Walter Matthau plays basically a New York City transit detective. And also, by the way, great little supporting role by Jerry Stiller.
Yes.
Most people will know him as George's father from Seinfeld, where he is both funny but not in
the whole movie,
traditionally funny movie.
I think it's the first movie, R-rated film, where they could drop F-bombs in it, too.
Really?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I think that might have been the case that they could drop F-bombs, which they did a lot in here.
Yes.
And there's the funny scenes when the Japanese guys from their subway come in, and Walter Matthau doesn't know they understand English, and so everybody knows this film.
Yeah, it's so good.
So I don't really get too far into it because we've done this a dozen times. But it is a pitch perfect heist film,
and it is so well paced,
yes.
and it just clips right along. It is smart. It is funny. The way that I actually came to this movie, I'd never seen it, but then I read an article that was talking about Quentin Tarantino. This was maybe even before he made Pulp Fiction, and they were talking about all the movies that he was taking from. And they talk about how in Reservoir Dogs he takes the Mr. White, the Mr. Brown. He takes all that from the Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. So I went to my local Blockbuster, and sure enough, they had it. And I watched it on video, and it just so good, so tight.
It is tight. It's Walter Matthau's heroic without being heroic.
Yep.
Okay, we know no backstory about him, unlike the remake.
Yep.
Where Denzel Washington had to have this whole backstory about, maybe he bribed somebody, maybe he didn't. His wife's waiting at home for the milk. When are you going to bring the milk home? We don't have any of that in this film. It's just
zero.
From the moment it starts in that bump starts, it's a heist from the get. And I've said this before on this podcast. But I like to go on the subway when I ride the subway and put that track on.
Nice.
Yeah, and just let it blast
great.
in my ears and just go.
So awesome.
Just go. All right, so Taking the Pelham 1, 2, 3. That's top of the class.
It really is.
I'm
surprised we didn't end with that one. That's what
I kind of wanted to get it out of the way because we've done it before. If you want to see it, hear our podcast or watch our podcast. I don't think it might have been audio only at the time.
Really?
It may have been. It's on there. Everybody talks about it. So I don't like it. That's why I don't really do Die Hard or Jaws because everybody has done them. So
I still think the Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, even with the 2 remakes, the TV remake in the 90s.
the TV remake is crazy.
I've never
There's even a
actually sat down and
female. There's
seen
a
it.
female bad.
Oh,
bad-
really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and D'Onofrio's playing the head guy.
Oh,
and it's
really?
it's definitely fun to watch because
Yeah.
it's weird as shit. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Isn't it wasn't it shot on video?
I might have been.
I
It
seem
might
to
have
remember
been.
like watching
Back in the
part of
day.
it on video,
Yeah.
like on YouTube or
Yeah,
something.
I'm sure. I think that's where I saw it. I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
But so good, so well done, and like you said, it really does capture that really kind of degraded 70s
Oh.
New York, where everything
And
just seems to be crumbling in on itself.
yeah, and the cinematographer. Let me get his name real quick. Talk a little bit about it. Taking of the Pelham.
Yeah,
We always bring up this guy because he did all the New York movies in the 70s. I can't think of
it's
his
such
name
a
right
good
now.
movie. It's so tight, and it's so funny too because what's also really cool about it is it kind of shows you this behind the scenes of how the subway works in New York City, right? Or at
Oh
least in
yeah,
the 70s,
that's
right?
the realism there was insane.
And I
Insane.
love the one guy who's just super bitter, and he's like, the one guy's like, "Hey, there's
Why the
people's
women-
lives are on the
Yeah.
line." He goes, "What do they want for their 35 cents
Right,
to
what do
live
they expect to
forever?"
live forever? Right.
It's like this guy's so jaded. He's
Well,
like,
it was so real. It was so real and honest, and that's why the film is just such a great.
Yeah, it's a great
the guy's name is Owen Roisman. He did all those 70s. Like when you see the
really?
dirty, grungy 70s,
Yeah,
he might
yeah.
have done Marathon Man. He might have
Wow.
done Gene Hackman's movie, The French Connection.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this guy's done a ton.
Ton of stuff,
And
yeah.
his big thing. So yeah, French Connection, Tootsie, The Exorcist.
"Oh, jeez."
Yeah, I mean, this guy, and he knew how to film the 70s.
yeah, exactly.
He really did.
Yeah,
So
it's such a great film. And if you haven't seen it, track down the original. Don't waste your time with the Denzel.
well,
I'm
it's
not saying it's
no the original.
Yeah,
You
the
have to see the
original is-
original.
it's just
the original's
really
the
a
original.
lot better,
You can't go wrong with the
no,
original.
you can't.
But if the Tony Scott one isn't terrible, but again, they add James Gale. There's all these characters that
Yeah.
come in and have to have reasons for them being there, which
Yeah.
they did not do in the other one.
No,
the
it
other one
just-
was just straight. Let's solve this problem.
Here's 4 bad dudes,
and it has the most classic end shot and end line.
Oh, yeah.
in
Oh, yeah.
movie history, which
Martin
is
Balsam's
just,
in it,
yeah.
who I love. Martin Balsam.
Yeah.
He was in Breakfast at Tiffany's and one of my favorite westerns, a movie called Hombre. Martin Ritt directed it. Yes.
You love Hombre.
Hombre has like some of the best dialogue in the history of movies. It's so
You
good.
love Hombre. I think was that on our list or was a side list?
It was
the
on. It
Western?
was like an asterisk on
Yeah.
our Western one. I think I mentioned it anyway.
So So taking the Pelham 1, 2, 3. All right, let's jump to the next one. I'm just
great.
gonna. There's
Sure.
no order here. Ocean's 11,
Ocean's 11. Now this is like
not the original,
the original.
not the Rat Pack original.
So I actually watched part of the Rat Pack. I don't know if I even finished it, quite frankly, but part of the Rat Pack original was like, it was just more about the Rat Pack guys doing
Yeah,
the Rat
hanging
Pack
out.
stuff. Yeah, hanging
Yeah.
out. Like the actual heist was like them just clonking a dude on the head and walking in and stealing a bunch of money.
Right.
Like while the Soderbergh version it's a lot about them hanging out and the chemistry.
Oh, there's all that, yeah.
But like it's about this super twisty, super complex heist. Do you
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth your time. Ocean's 12 and Ocean's 13. I never saw Ocean's 8, but the sequels you can all skip in my opinion.
Ocean's 8 is the female one.
Yeah, that's the one with
She plays a
like his cousin or something. Or something
Sandra Bullock plays.
Yeah.
his
And I was
cousin.
just like, okay, but like I never. Let me put it this way: I didn't think Ocean's 12 or 13 was all that great, but Ocean's 11 is really fun. I think that's the key word: fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it also you saw the banter with George Clooney and Brad Pitt, and I think Matt Damon was in the first one.
He is in the first one, yeah. He's in
And all the
most of
guys that they pulled,
Yeah.
Elliot Gould, the whole crew, and I think was the first one with who played the casino owner? Was that what's his name?
Andy Garcia.
Andy Garcia.
Oh, yeah.
And of course Julia Roberts.
Yeah,
is
she's
so.
great.
But for me, it's about the planning of the heist.
Oh yeah.
And how they're showing you everything. And they still pull that trick off at the end where
Exactly.
you weren't even part of. You didn't even know. We as viewers didn't know that was going to happen.
Even though they kind of walked you through it.
Right.
Yeah. So good.
So,
Such a good movie.
but you didn't see 12, 13?
No, I saw them both. I just
Yeah.
didn't like them that much.
okay.
And I think it was basically, one of the law of diminishing returns, right? I just felt that was a case where they tried to make the magic happen again, and while there was some fun stuff in it, it just didn't really Just didn't really knock me out.
Well, also the first one's the first one. I mean, I like them. I like them all. The first one was the best.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with Brad Pitt always having food in his mouth and talking
Yeah.
with food and all that. That's kind of fun. And James Caan's kid is in there, and
that's right.
And Affleck is in there. They're all playing
Casey
kind of weird
Affleck.
dudes. But again, for me, it's about they're showing you the planning. You see the plan go in action, and then they still pull the rug out from under us.
Exactly,
and
which is
just,
so
I
great.
just thought that was great. That's such a.
But I mean, it's Soderbergh, man. He's great.
Yeah.
He is like that guy doesn't really make bad movies. Some you might like more than others.
It's funny. He's not as commercial as I thought. Like because some new ones he's come out with. The one I saw about the ghost in the house, I thought was really good. Not Possession. I forget the name of that one.
I saw Black Bag.
Black Bag. I thought was really good.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater. I loved it.
Yeah.
But not very many people went to see it.
I don't think a lot of people saw that film.
No, it did not do great.
And I'm surprised because with Fassbender in there and Kate Blanchett, he's definitely an auteur. I mean, the guy, he shoots his own stuff mostly. He edits his own stuff mostly. He's also on the internet making like Indiana Jones black and white, and he's recutting other films.
Yeah,
and the guy is, and he always threatens to retire. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And
then he
keeps
comes
coming back.
Yeah,
coming back.
Well, I mean, I get it. Like it's like I can say I'm sick of this. I'm sick of the the politics. I'm sick of them trying to make me change my movies. And then he takes 18 months off, and then all of a sudden he's like,
I'm okay.
Oh, I've got an idea.
Yeah,
I can see that happening.
Yeah, and
hey, I'm glad he keeps coming back.
Yeah. And Ocean's 11 is one of those where you sit there and you go, geez, I want to hang out with those guys.
Oh, I know.
I wish I was on that crew.
Oh, sure.
I mean, you can go to jail and stuff like that, but, it'd be fun to hang out with the crew.
Well, they got away with it, so
yeah,
they did go to jail.
And again, like I said, they pull the rug out from under you, and
right.
you're just as fooled
as everybody else
in the
film. And that's what really makes, that's why it works. That's why it works so well.
Yeah, so that's Ocean's 11.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to The Inside Man. Inside Man.
Right, not The
Inside Man.
Yeah, just Inside Man. Spike Lee movie.
Yep, Spike Lee joint.
Yes, one of my favorite Spike Lee movies.
Right.
Like this movie, it's a departure for him, right?
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much just a story. It has a little social commentary in there. Later on in the film, we find out, but it's got a great cast. It's got obviously Denzel Washington, Clive Owen, Jodie Foster.
Right.
Christopher Plummer's in it.
Yeah.
And then. God,
who's his partner?
Chetaway Ejiofor. I know I totally butchered that.
Yeah.
But like I can't say that name.
Right.
I'm sorry,
Right.
I just can't. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Everything in that movie is great. It's funny. It's very New York. Like that's the other part I love about it. It's like, and it has this really twisty kind of heist that's going on. And you've got this. What I like about it too is that you got Denzel playing the ultra capable detective, ultra smart. Like even in that scene where he's like, I know this isn't a bank robbery. It's not a bank robbery. And he's like, he does all that thing. And he's like, I gave him every chance to kill me, but he didn't, So he's like this super smart guy. He's super.
Yeah. Explain what happens because, and we can spoil this. I mean, this is spoiled.
So basically in The Inside Man, if you haven't seen it, basically what starts out as a what seems to be a bank robbery / hostage taking situation. And it starts out basically with them talking, interviewing all the people involved.
That were in the bank.
Right. That were in the bank.
The hostages.
Right. So it starts at the end and it kind of moves forward. And what happens is they make all the hostages in the bank dress the exact same way, right? Workman's overalls, mask, hoodie, the whole 9 yards. So what starts to happen is they break them all up and they've got guns and everything and they're breaking into this bank, right? What they're actually doing is they're actually breaking into the safety deposit boxes because they're trying to get stuff. They're there to steal a particular thing, but also stick it to this guy, Christopher Plummer.
Yeah, because he owns the bank.
He owns the bank.
He may have some
Nazi
affiliation.
Yeah, he has some pretty shady stuff in his past.
Shady, say the least.
It's one of those things too, where he has obviously since then he has tried to make up for it all.
Right.
But it's like they say in Ghosts of Mississippi, we never get right for the wrong we've done or the evil we've done.
That's right. And Jodie Foster plays a fixer.
Yes, she plays like
who's playing both sides. She's working with Denzel, sort of, and also Christopher Plummer, sort of. And ultimately, Clive Owen ends up. Okay, but the thing about the hostages, let's get back to that for a second, is now the police are trying to figure out if they're part of the bank robbery or actual hostages.
Exactly. So when the hostages,
nobody knows who's doing what.
So when the hostages come running out the front door in kind of the pseudo climax of the movie, there's no bank robbers.
Right.
And what happened is they kept switching people from room to room as the bank robbers started joining the hostages. And so the idea is that they don't know who is who. But the thing is they can't find the leader. They can't find Clive Owen.
Right.
Because Denzel talked to him a bunch of times and he knows it. And so the hook, which I thought was great, is in some weird storage room, they just built a false wall. And then like 2 weeks, he's basically been living in this like 2.5 foot section of wall where they built a fake wall and just put everything back that nobody noticed it was somewhat smaller than it used to be. He's been living there. So he escapes out of there and of course bumps into Denzel on the way out, and kind of gets away with it.
Well, he also slips a diamond in Denzel's pocket.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's one of those ones where it's like, so what ends up happening is, of course, they expose Christopher Plummer for all of his terrible stuff and Nazi affiliations when he was a young man. But the bank robbers kind of get away with it.
Yeah.
And part of that is because that there's this huge media storm about all these terrible things this guy did.
Right.
So like suddenly they're not so interested in finding those people again.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a great movie. It's very twisty.
And Jodie Foster's character is
she's
snaking through all of it,
Yeah.
and
she's
she
really
plays
great.
she plays smart, which she always does.
Oh,
And she's she is smart, and her characters are smart.
I mean, even in Nell, she played pretty smart.
Yeah, even though she couldn't
She
see it.
doesn't play dumb.
Right,
That's not in her DNA.
But I just thought you're right. The New Yorkness of it all, right down to accents and even the pizzas they get to put the mic. They're going to wire up the they send
pizza box.
wires in with the pizzas.
Yeah.
And then how the bank robbers faked them with that. They were talking around. I forget what they did where they acted as if
it was an Armenian strongman dictator from like the 50s or something.
Right.
And I think it's smart. Like he projects it over the loudspeaker. He's like, this is New York. There's a million people who understands that. And some construction dude, some guy from the Bronx is like, that's Armenian. He's like, I don't know what it is. Like my first wife was Armenian and that's Armenian. And then she shows up with literally like a bag full of parking tickets.
Right.
She's like, I'll help you, but you got to get rid of these parking
You got to pay
tickets.
these off. Yeah.
You got to get rid of these parking tickets for me.
But again, it's Denzel is
Yeah.
Denzel,
Dude,
he's just great.
Yeah, but I also liked it too because it was nice to see him play a role, and he plays a ton of different roles, but it was nice to see him kind of play to somewhat a lighter role. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a hard-nosed detective. He's
the
super
situations were
It's a little lighter.
They were lighter. They wasn't light, but they were light.
Yes.
They were light things that were happening in the film.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, and it just didn't feel, like I said, it just didn't feel like a super heavy duty.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you sit down and you watch a Spike Lee movie, you got to emotionally prepare.
Yeah.
Right. This is not that case. This
Right.
is kind of
well,
one
and
of
you
his
got Clive
lighter
Owen in
films.
there too, and
he's
you could
great.
watch him.
Whatever happened to that guy?
He's doing a lot of TV. I think. I don't know.
But I mean, I felt like for a minute there,
he was
going to
the
be
it
the
guy.
next big
I think it was going to be the next Bond. I mean, there was all kinds of stuff going on with him.
I think that's where his star started to drop when he didn't get Bond, and I think
I don't know. I just remember
Daniel
seeing him.
Craig became Bond.
Yeah,
I
remember
think they were in the two in the running.
in the running.
Yeah.
Well, he was the it guy for a little while there.
Yeah, he was.
So he was in a lot of stuff. So that's
yeah.
Inside Man. All right, last two. I'm going to save for me the best one for last.
All right.
So we're going to go with Heist.
Okay.
David Mamet's Heist.
David Mamet.
Now you've seen this.
Oh yeah, actually this was one of the ones I rewatched.
I just watched it.
Yeah,
and
it's one of those ones.
It's so Mamet. The language is ridiculous.
Everything is so great.
That's why they call it money. Everybody needs money. That's why they call it money. All right, so go ahead. Explain this one.
Okay, well, this one is basically this is really a movie that is truly about a heist.
Right.
It is about a guy who
Gene Hackman,
who's kind of the planner. He's the brains. He sets up the heists. He works with his crew, take down jewelry stores. And so he has some bad luck, and he gets made. He gets his face on camera.
Right. This is the one movie where there's two heists. There's the first jewelry heist.
Yeah.
And then
because
he gets the camera catches him, now he's got to...
But that really only serves to set him up.
For the next heist.
For the next heist. And Danny DeVito kind of comes in as a crime boss kind of guy, who, by the way, he's fantastic in this as a total...
He's a dick.
Yeah,
he's good.
He's
good
great.
Though. Yeah.
And so he comes in, and he's like, you got to do this job. And there's this whole thing,
Because he didn't get paid for the heist that
he didn't get
the first
right.
jewelry heist. So he has to do this one to get his money.
He has to get his money.
Get the crew together, get the
Right.
money.
And he's got this boat. And the whole thing is he's going down south. He's going down.
He's trying to get out because
Right.
he got seen.
Eventually they're
seen.
going to catch up with him.
Right.
Right. So the whole thing is he's trying to get some money together to take his boat and to go down south.
And by the way, he's with Rebecca Pigeon.
Rebecca Pigeon, who's David Mamet's wife.
His wife.
Or at
And,
least used to
she,
be.
She used to be. Same
I don't know if they're-
Lindsay Krause was too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Lindsay Krause
Oh.
was married to Mamet, and then Rebecca Pigeon.
Really?
Yeah. So she's a sexy little ingenue.
Kinda.
Yeah. And she's part of his. She's part of what?
I mean, I think
she's.
I mean, she's hot, but like she's got different eyes. They're kind of bulgy, but it's
I don't
actually
know. I
all
find
right.
her really super attractive.
Yeah, she's good looking.
In this one, and what's the other one she did?
She's done a bunch of Mamet
Yeah, I know
movies.
she does all Mamet. Oh,
She was in State and Maine. She was in
the one with the
Spanish
chemical,
Prisoner.
the Spanish Prisoner.
That's
where she
another
played-
great Mamet
She played.
movie.
Yes, she played. Okay, so back to
anyway,
Heist.
by
So
Heist.
Gene Hackman has to do the second.
He has to do another high.
Gold.
One more.
They got to
high.
get Swiss gold.
Yeah,
Danny
it's a
DeVito's making him
yeah.
do Swiss gold, and Sam Rockwell's in there as
Oh, yeah.
his nephew, who is put on the crew to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do.
to make sure everything goes right for
Right.
Danny DeVito's
Right.
side of things. So there's this animosity. So much, in fact, that like at the very beginning of kind of in the first act, part of the first act, toward the end of the first act, they actually, because Gene Hackman thinks he has another way to make a bunch of money, that he's planning on, he actually kind of scuttles the heist. And not for real, but
right, they fake like they can't do it.
they fake like they can't do it,
Right.
like everything's gone sideways and they can't
We got to
do
get
it.
out.
But then, long story short, what happens is his attempt to rip this guy off who wants to buy his boat.
I think that guy was a gangster.
Yeah.
He was
who shows up with a bag full of money,
Right,
you know?
right.
But he wanted to buy his boat, and his whole plan was to rip him off, take his money, and take off with the boat and just be gone. And that would be his, his seed money or
Right.
whatever for
Right.
going
Him and Rebecca Pigeon
down
go
there.
south, and
right.
that's yeah.
And they were going to live on the boat
Right.
on the money. So then he has to actually go back and do the heist. But the whole thing, the whole time, they're actually setting Danny DeVito and Sam Rockwell up.
Right.
And-
They're getting the gold.
Yes, they're going to take the gold and they're going to take all of it
Right.
because they're pretty sure they're going to get double crossed and whacked
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And so what happens is one of the more labyrinthian kind of, it's so twisty
Getting the gold out of the plane.
and they don't actually
switching it so that-
they switch it so they think
So
Sam
Sam Rockwell just gets widgets.
yeah, he gets like
Some
literally
factory.
steel washers or
Right,
something
right,
like
washer.
that. And which is kind of funny because I just made this connection literally right now. That's exactly what happens in the Wild Bunch. In the opening scene of the Wild Bunch, right? The railroad shoots off their mouth about a big silver payload. And so the Wild Bunch go in there and rob it, and it was a fake. It was all just a $1.50 worth of washers.
Right.
And I'm thinking about that now. It just hit me. That's got to be like it
Maybe.
was the exact same
Maybe.
thing. So anyway, they pull a switch, but then kind of the sad part of the film is I don't want to tell every little bit about it.
No,
but,
we can spoil it.
Is that so? What happens is at some point in the film, Gene Hackman sends his wife Rebecca Pigeon to basically go seduce the young guy to
Right.
get inside information.
I don't know if she's his wife, but she's with him.
She's with him,
Yeah.
right? And
yes,
so
but send her in. Do
to
your
go get
thing.
him.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. You're the go-getter.
Va va
go-getter.
va boom. She comes in with the thing and
Yeah. So what happens though is she really
digs him.
falls for him and
Yeah.
decides, you know what? Hackman's old.
Yeah.
He's at least 20, 25 years older than me.
Right.
He can't hack it anymore.
Right.
I'm going to get with this young guy. He's at least got a future.
Yeah.
So I don't have to keep doing this nonsense.
Right. But of course, DeVito's upset because he got fooled,
Oh, yeah.
and he's now going after Gene Hackman and the whole crew,
Oh, yeah.
trying to kill him one at a time.
Exactly.
Poor Ricky Jay gets
killed.
and
in a porta potty of all
in a
things.
porta potty, as long as they didn't touch his knees.
Yeah, that's...
And then Rebecca Pigeon turns on him as well, gives up the gold.
Uh-huh.
But it turns out that Gene Hackman, of course, had already thought all this out. And he
figured it all out.
He made gold rods for his boat, or they told him he was going to go on the boat. And it turns anyway,
Yeah.
he gets away with it.
He ends up getting away with it.
Rebecca Pigeon does go with Sam Rockwell,
Yeah,
who's great, by the way, as
Oh, yeah,
always.
he's fantastic.
She does go with him, And Gene Hackman drives away, and then that pole scrapes, and you go, "Oh, he's got all the gold."
He had the gold the whole time.
And Delroy Lindo too is in this.
Oh my God,
who
yeah,
was just in
Delroy
Sinners
yeah.
and was amazing in Sinners.
Delroy Lindo is so underrated.
And he looks the same. He hasn't changed.
Of
It's
course
amazing.
man, that guy he's like the same for 25 years.
He's
plays
his
45
partner.
for 25 years.
And the two of them, the banter and the memetisms, the way they talk to each other. If you don't like Mamet, you're going to hate the film because it's just nonstop.
It's that weird kind of flat staccato. Back and forth.
Yeah, it's a Glengarry Glen Ross patter.
Exactly.
Where they repeat. What are you saying? You're saying this? You're saying I got to go do this? But even more than that, Gene Hackman was even more kind of...
Plus, I will say this. About 80% of this movie is yelling. It feels like everyone is yelling at each other all the time.
Well, that Gene Hackman was ratcheting that up quite a bit. I thought that too. It's like,
but I was just like, everyone is yelling constantly in this. I don't know why, but when I watched it this time, I was like, wow, it's like... everybody's yelling all the time. Yeah. But a great film.
But again, it's another one where they're showing you the heist, and you're in the middle of you're watching them do it, and they still. It's like you're right. Especially the plane. Like, how did they go?
They did
How did they get the widgets in the truck that Sam Rockwell was supposed to take?
Right. Yeah, well,
then they go back to the plane. And actually got the gold because they said it was
basically what they did was, my understanding is that when they're on the plane, right, what they were actually doing is just switching all the labels,
right on the boxes,
on the stuff. So they took the widgets, right? They took the widget labels and they put them on the actual gold. They took the gold and put them on the widgets. And
but the widgets were in boxes, so nobody could see as they were dumping into the van.
They're all obviously, the widgets are all torn up. And if they wouldn't have known it for at least another couple of hours, except they happen to have a very, sudden, plot written in there, accident, right?
Oh, right. Sam Rockwell in the van.
Sam
Rockwell
comes just driving.
Oops.
And he starts talking to the girl, and he literally just drifts into the other lane.
Because at that point, she was still...
We think she was still she was unsure. Because I'll tell you what happens there is when they have the accident, she's like, just leave it. So I think she knows the switch had taken place.
She knew the switch had happened.
And she just runs and flags down the first semi-trucker and jumps in there with him.
Right, she got to get out of there.
To get out of there, to get away from Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
So I think she was still...
At that point, she was still on Gene
She was still with...
team.
Yeah. But later on, she's just like, you know what?
Well, I think she did it also to save Gene Hackman's life.
Well, that's what she says. Yeah.
Well, I really, truly believed that she gave him up so that they wouldn't kill him.
That
they were
going
to kill him anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. But of course.
And she just keeps saying, give him some money. He can't go down. Leave him the boat.
You can't go down there without money.
He can't go down there with nothing, So, but great film.
Yeah.
If you don't really care for Mamet, you're going to have a rough time.
It's rough. It's rough. But again, I love seeing the machinations of the thing, the sting. The Patty DuPont thing he does where he sets her up because she's drinking on the job with the FAA. How they set that up right from the get-go.
Oh, yeah.
All those things, I just love those little actions that happen that lead to, and especially that scene along the roadway.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're fake surveying, and then the cop pulls up, and that's the first time that they go after, you see that Sam Rockwell's making some weird moves because he's ready to go after the cop, and these two guys he's as cool as what's he say about the pillow? He's so cool. He said that my man is cool.
What does he say?
He says, my man is so cool that, I forget what.
Such a good line, too.
I forget it. Oh, my God.
And Ricky Jay is so great.
Yeah, Ricky Jay's great. All these Mamet
movies.
films he's done. House of Games. I mean, he's
just
done
great.
all kinds of stuff.
And
he's so cool that what is that?
I know. It's going to kill me. It's going to bother me, too.
Believe me.
Because I remember rewatching and going, that's a good
That's
line.
a great line. There were some good ones in there. Some real good ones.
It's a good flick.
But I recommend that one. But if you're not a Mamet fan,
definitely steer clear because it is Mamet in full throttle.
Full throttle.
Another good one of his I actually just rewatched was Red Belt.
I've never seen Red Belt. That's a karate one?
Yeah.
He's all into that.
Yeah. He's very
not a little
into
right wing.
a little. I actually read that recently. I did not realize that had occurred because I don't really follow the guy or anything. So I had not realized that he had taken a bit of a hard
He's
right
a big
turn.
trumper, but it's it's Mamet. So I don't know. Red Belt I know because he got all into that.
He's very big into that whole warrior spirit. Like Spartan was another one of his films.
I like that film.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Did we bring that up in our Val Kilmer?
We never actually got around to doing the Val Kilmer one. Remember?
We didn't?
No, we had a bunch of technical difficulties.
Oh, I thought we did 10. Boy, my brain is gone. We
that
didn't
was
do
during.
that?
By the way, guys, this is the first one. If you may notice, things look a little different.
Yeah, we had a
here.
flood. I had a flood, and now I fixed it. We got a new set.
There's a new
And I'm
set,
trying-
so that's
I'm
why
trying-
we were away for like 2
Yeah,
months.
nobody really cares. But
That's
you know,
not true.
thanks for
People
wondering.
love us, all 12 of them.
Let me see if I can get this quote from.
Hey, my buddy
quote.
Judd left a nice comment on the thing.
He commented.
Yeah, he commented.
Oh, we sent him a hat.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have hats.
Somebody
Heist.
else said we sucked, but that's beside
Who
the point.
really?
Somebody was like, "Oh, you guys are goofy. Delete me or something." I was like, "I don't know."
Oh, really?
You can cut all this shit out.
okay. One of our subscribers wanted to
So,
quit.
I don't know. Somebody just left it. It could have
Quote
been a bot
Heist.
for all I know.
He is as cool as cool. Let's see if I can find this. My motherfucker school. When he goes to bed, sheep count him.
That's
That's what it is. He's so cool that sheep count him.
That's so good.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, Heist. All right, last one. My favorite. And it's an
Mine
oldie,
too.
oldie but a goodie. It's
This movie
Stanley
is-
Kubrick's The Killing.
I saw this movie.
Go.
I saw this movie in college during. I was taking a film noir class, and we actually they were bringing them in and actually showing them on film.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I saw The Killing there, and it is, it's funny. I think it's one of those movies. If people watch it today, they might see it and they might look at it and they go, "Oh, this is kind of not necessarily boring," because I don't think you can ever say it's boring.
I wouldn't call it. It's dated.
Dated, and
It's
they'll be
the
like,
acting is dated.
right, and
the
then
acting
also
is
say
dated,
things
which is
like,
always the case. With
"Oh,
these.
this, it's so obvious," or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's one of those ones that I was like, it's obvious because everything for the last 65 years or however long it's been has copied this.
Oh,
movie.
100%.
I mean, this movie
I didn't realize
is,
how much it copied
Oh,
until I
I
watched
know.
it again.
I know. It is like so the blueprint for not every heist movie, but obviously, but so many heist movies.
Yeah.
From the opening part where it has that really weird, almost documentary style narration.
Oh yeah. Well, the narration's throughout.
But my point is it's very documentary style. It's very straightforward. It's like we are watching these men perform this.
Yeah, it's
crime.
a weird mix of, like you're saying, the straightforward, but also very melodramatic, especially
Oh,
the
yeah.
relationships between the dolls, the ladies, the dams,
yeah.
the dames,
The dames.
and Sterling Hayden, who I have come to just love,
Dude.
his stuff. He was supposed to be Quint.
Really?
Jaws, yes, but
Wow.
he couldn't do it for tax reasons. He had tax issues, and they couldn't do it right. He was supposed to be Quint, and I bet he would have been great.
He would have been great. Like,
I've seen
Sterling
a couple
Hayden
films with him, and I just
he's like that. He is a classic tough guy. Like he
Oh.
is, like he is the guy that he's one of those actors. Like when you look at him, you think that guy probably could kick my ass. Some of them you look at him and you go, no chance.
Yeah, no, I think he probably would.
probably
kicked some people's ass.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Yeah, you're talking about so Tarantino. Obviously, the theatrical version wasn't. They didn't use the cut out of sequence thing. They did a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a little bit back and forth, but I guess his first cut was really people got confused about where are we? What's going on?
What's
so
happening?
Tarantino, the mask that he uses, the clown,
Yeah.
was the same mask I think they used in The Dark Knight for that bank.
Oh
robbery.
yeah.
And then the flowers in the gun in the flower
yeah.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron used that in
I know.
the Terminator 2. The
Oh, I know.
exact same,
Oh.
right down to the bow and everything.
Yeah. It is so good, this film, right? Everything about it is so good, and it's so meticulous, the way he does everything. And he's got all of this stuff laid out and how he does it. And I love that bit about how he's like, these guys are regular dudes. They've got jobs, they've got wives,
Yeah.
they've also got a little larceny in them.
Yeah.
And it's like he can pick the right mark. He can say, I'm going to pick Elijah Cook Jr., who this guy is this. Oh God! You both feel for him and you hate him.
Both, exactly. It was brutal.
I know.
Brutal how that woman was just.
He was so henpecked and like wrapped around her finger, but at the same time, she's just shitting on him the whole time. And the whole thing.
She's with Vince Edwards.
Oh, I know, and it's just like. I love it. And then, of course, when she tries to run her little game on Sterling Hayden, and the other thing is it's a great film noir, too.
Yeah.
Right? It's not only an amazing heist film, but it really does. And I think that's why you have, like, the femme fatale types throughout the film, right?
Yeah.
Mostly her.
Yeah, she's the only one. I mean, his girlfriend.
His girlfriend
Faye,
is almost like
she was
almost goody goody,
Yeah.
like in a sense that she's whatever you say, Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny.
You know?
Johnny. But here's the other thing. This is what I mean about melodramatic. Everybody called him Johnny. Johnny's the greatest guy. Johnny. Yeah, we know Johnny. Johnny's great.
Yeah.
Johnny's this. Johnny's that. Johnny. It's like okay, I get it, but enough. But doesn't matter.
Oh, it's so and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm just the way that Kubrick does certain things in that movie that like really mess with your head a little bit. Like
I'm going to tell you about a scene that just
the scene that always gets me is the scene where he comes in after the kind of the shootout and they're all dead, right? They're all laying there.
yeah.
And in the background, it's obviously just, the music on the radio, but it's like this really kind of snappy, Latin-y kind of beat. It does not match the scene of carnage that you just witnessed in any way.
Right.
And I love that. Like,
right. So
that.
there's a scene that just I was like, okay, he comes into the chess room. There's the official chess of New York City.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So we're seeing him come through the door from the outside. And I'm like, oh, they screwed that up. Look, it's the writing is we're seeing it correct. We're not seeing the mirror like the glass on the outside.
Right.
But as he comes down the hall, there's this full-length mirror at the end of the hall that he's shooting through that mirror to get him coming through. It was freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
Yeah. He just
And I'm like, okay, this is why I love this film. And it's quick.
Oh yeah.
It's a short one.
Yeah, it
explains
super
what's
tight.
going on. They got to shoot the horse around the thing, and they're
Uh-huh.
going to cause chaos. Some other guy's going to start a bar fight to distract the police.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention. The whole thing is they're trying to rob a horse track. Yeah. Back
$2 million.
Back when horse racing was a big deal.
They said, and the narrator's going, there's 100,000 people at the horse. 100,000 people at the horse race.
Dude,
Are you freaking kidding me?
Dude, horse racing used to be crazy. I read that book, Seabiscuit.
Yeah.
And they talked about it. Now, granted, it was, the Great Depression, but they were saying that sometimes 40 or 50,000 people would just show up to watch Seabiscuit practice.
Wow.
Like that they'd just to run him.
Right.
They would people would just show up and watch him run. I mean, I've only ever been to Preakness.
Okay.
For the racetrack to go
Yeah.
actually on Preakness, so it's madhouse.
Yeah.
There is 100,000 people there
Yeah.
on a nice day.
Have you ever been when all the scuzzy people are at the...
No, I've never actually. I've always wanted to go because
all the degenerates,
I mean, I always liked it when I would go to Preakness. I would always bet on the horses. I enjoyed betting. I didn't know anything, and usually lost a little bit of money, but it was always fun. It makes it a lot more exciting. And I always thought, oh, we should go back, and we should go back. And then I've never quite gotten the energy up because I've heard, I'm like, it's probably just Scuzz City.
Well, you got to watch the Dreyfuss film that we talked about.
Yeah.
What's it called? I can't remember. I'm so old. I can't remember
It's your
anything.
movie, Let It Ride.
Let It Ride. Those are degenerates.
Yeah.
They're all thinking they're going to win, and
and
nobody wins. Everybody's a loser. So they do this track thing. The guy with the car and the rifle, so Johnny's hiring certain people that he's only paying. They don't get part of the
they don't get a cut.
They're just paid because you can trust these guys.
Yeah.
And then that guy ends up being a racist pig. It's just like he shoots. I don't mind shooting horses, no big deal. I don't, And I love Johnny explaining, like, there's no murder for horses. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
What do they put you away for?
Yeah. You might get a fine.
Yeah. Okay, but let's talk about the last scene.
Okay, I have
The
a
scene
theory
at the
about
airport. The scene at the airport, which is...
I have a theory about the scene at the airport.
What's the theory?
My theory about the scene.
Explain what happens.
So what happens at the final?
So he's the only one left.
He's the only one left.
He's got $2 million in a suitcase.
He's with his girl,
and he's already set up an airplane.
Right. He's got a ticket out of town. Right. And long story short is, he basically has to travel with the money. Things didn't go 100% to plan. They're all half dead. Most of the other guys are all dead. So he's got all the money, but he has to travel with the money basically.
Right.
And long story short, what happens is they say to him,
he gets to the airport, which he set up a flight to go to Boston.
And what happens is they say you can't check these bags. You can't take them on the plane.
It's a huge bag.
Yeah. You have to check it basically. You can't take it on the plane with you, man. And he's like, okay. He's like, okay, what could go wrong here?
Well, okay. There's a lot that led up.
Well,
to
yeah,
that.
there is.
Okay, so there's
a series of events that makes this
so
happen.
he's upset that I set this up yesterday. I was told I could bring a bag on the plane. Yes, you can, but not this giant bag. What do you got in there? What's so well, I got personal stuff.
Yeah.
But the whole lead up with the lady with the dog,
Right. Mhm.
that little dog.
Yeah.
She's isn't this dog great? So they set up this dog thing.
Yeah, they set up this like Chihuahua looking dog.
She's a
Little
customer
collar.
right before he walks up to drop the bag
Yeah.
on the thing.
And what happens is, this is in the old days when you actually had to walk on the tarmac
Right.
to get to the stairs to get to the plane. And he's watching the guys, the porters are bringing the luggage over the whole time. He's watching. Dog jumps out of the lady's hands, runs over there. Guy pulls,
The baggage guy.
the baggage guy, swerves. Thing falls over, money goes
everywhere.
And money just flies
Swirl.
up. There's
This is where Sterling Hayden's acting was, I felt, the best. Because he
Yeah.
looked completely defeated. He was like,
Devastated.
and she's dragging him, Johnny, we got to get out of here. And he's just like, and finally he just says, what's the point?
Yeah.
He goes, what's the point?
Yeah.
I got, it's done. I'm
What's
done.
the point? Right.
I'm done.
So here's my theory. About
What's your
that.
theory?
And this, I remember
The theory about what?
the ending.
Okay.
And the dumb dog thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's my theory on all of that. My theory was, in the old days, in the days of the code and all of that stuff, bad guys can't win. Right.
Right.
I think Kubrick wanted him to win, wanted him to get away because he was smart and he was so well planned. So he came up with kind of the dumbest, most ridiculous way for him to get caught.
Well,
And threw that in there as basically like a way to say, this guy should have gotten away. He should have gotten away with it. But I can't write that. Nobody's going to let me write that these days. So I'm going to make it stupid.
maybe.
And that's the way I
I
felt
know.
about it.
I don't know the
I like-
book. I know this was based on a book.
Yeah, I've
and I
never
know
read
there
that
was
either.
a different ending that had something to do with that money flying around on the tarmac.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Oh, maybe if that was in the book, then maybe I'm
but
wrong.
the suspense of him dealing with that, the stress he had where they wouldn't let him get it on the plane
Oh, God.
was.
Yeah.
But even
And
that
part of it
scene,
is 'cause
even that,
it's like-
but even that scene where he's filling the, he pulls over and he switches from the bag to the luggage.
Yeah.
he could barely fit the money.
Well,
money
that-
was just flopping. He
I
could
know.
barely fit it. in there.
Well, that's the thing.
And the
It's like-
locks weren't working. Like the locks were popping open.
Well, because he expected to have like 1/3 of that amount.
Right.
He didn't expect to have
All of that.
All
That's
of
true.
that
That's
money.
true. Because there's nobody to split.
Because
it
like
with
he
now.
was talking about, okay, this bag though thing I can fit. He probably knew how big that
That's
amount
true.
of money would
That's
be.
true.
And so all of a sudden, it's not like he's just got a little bit more, or one guy died, so they divvied up his share. All of a sudden, he's got 3 times as much money as he probably originally thought he was going to have. That's why the luggage wasn't working. That's why all of that stuff. It still makes me wonder, though. It's like I might have risked trying to get out of there in a car. Do you know what I mean?
Well, he's flying from California to Boston.
Oh, I know.
You can't. What do you mean? Yeah. Okay. Well, forget. I mean,
You know what I mean?
You're
Like-
trying to be logical at this
I-
point.
yeah.
No. I mean, the stress
It's
of
so
seeing that luggage up on that thing and him just realizing that, and he finally just said, screw it. Put it on the plane. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
And then the dog jumps
I know.
out of that
And then the
woman's arms.
dog. Like, that's a stupid little dog.
And then they cut to the dog getting back in her arms. Oh, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was where I'm saying the acting that he was doing
Oh,
from
yeah.
that moment on was just devastation.
Yeah.
Like he's just like,
What's
what do
the
I got to
point?
do?
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm going back to where he came. Where he was in.
Was it San Quentin or
Yeah,
something?
Quentin.
Like that?
He was at the Rock. He was on the Rock.
Oh, Alcatraz.
Alcatraz. That's where the guy that owned the motel. Hey, from Alcatraz says I can get a motel room. All that.
Oh, okay.
All that jazz that
That's
was
right.
going on.
That's
with
right.
the-
Yeah.
But to have it end like that, you're right. This guy who was,
I-
everything. Johnny's perfect on everything he was
Yeah.
doing, and you just the dog. And the way that money was swirling
Oh,
on
I
the
know.
tarmac,
It's
it's like,
so good.
I wonder how many takes Kubrick did
Knowing
get
him,
that.
probably 50.
to get that right.
There was 3 bills that I
But
didn't like.
I just find this one. Yes, it's a little bit melodramatic.
Mm-hmm.
The acting's weird, but some of the shots, like I said, the mirror shot he did when he comes down that hall, I just was blown away.
yeah.
But he did a lot of tracking shots too.
Yeah.
Behind suitcase, behind furniture and rooms that are small, but he's doing this stuff where he's behind, and it's only a second film, and he was 28 years old.
I know.
I mean, and he did Paths of Glory after this one, I think.
Yeah.
Because Kirk Douglas was supposed to be in this one or not? I don't know.
I didn't know that.
I don't know. But
all I know is Paths of Glory was.
I haven't seen that.
I actually saw it in like my 11th grade American history class. I think the teacher was just a little tired. And so he was like, "Oh, World War I. We're going to watch Paths of Glory." It was World War I week.
Is it
it's fantastic.
Really?
I remember it blew me away back then watching it, And this was literally, it wasn't like on a screen. They literally just wheeled it at TV. And
I got it on VHS over there. I got to maybe stick it in the old VCR. So out of the 5, I'm not, Rafifi I think I'm going to really like, but out of these 5, I got to put Pelham and Killing as my, tied for 1 and 2. As much as I love Pelham, and I do, I just found rewatching The Killing just made me appreciate it. And then when you realize, like you were saying, how these other directors used everything out of that film for their stuff.
Yeah.
And, how he was copied. And
I'm going to agree with you in that regard and say Pelham and The Killing are at the top. I still really just love Pelham 1, 2, 3. I must have watched that movie 10 times. I mean, legitimately.
This Pelham 1, 2, 3 is why this podcast started 8 years ago.
There you go.
Because all I wanted to do was talk about that film. And we were the whole premise of the original Yippee-Ki-Yay was we had 2 millennials in the thing who had never seen these films.
Of course not.
And it was me and another guy bringing these films to them and saying, you have got to watch this one.
Yeah.
And Pelham was the first one that we did that with.
Yeah, and that's a great one to do it with because, I mean, I can't... It's so tight. It's so quick. It just moves. It starts and it just keeps on moving.
Like I said, there's
no fat.
There's no fat.
There's no fat on that movie.
And there's no backstory, and it's just Walter Matthau against...
Robert Shaw. Like the only backstory we get in that movie is that Martin Balsam's subway car driver, he was a subway car driver that got fired.
Well, that's what got them.
And that's why he's able to come up with a device.
Right.
And
it's also what got him caught too, because he was on the list that they went and searched for.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's sneezing at the end.
I know. That's so good.
Gesundheit.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-bum. That's Talia Shara's husband. Did the score.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was married to him for a while.
No way.
Yeah. It's another one. Another one that did he did a bunch of scores in the 70s, and I just love Pelham.
It's great. It's great.
All right, so yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Pelham, I agree. Pelham's on the top, but after rewatching The Killing, I have such a strong appreciation for that film.
It's such a great movie.
The acting that Sterling Hayden did after that money was blown on the tarmac to me, because he was acting tough through the whole movie. That's weird bravado stuff, but the way when he was defeated, he realized it's over.
He realizes he's done.
It was
great.
So good.
Because you're right, like throughout the whole movie, he does have that very kind of film noir tough guy. Look, baby, you can't, you're not going to play. You're not going to play me like a fiddle like this guy, like that sap, that kind of stuff.
Oh, man,
I mean, obviously delivered in much.
The nerd
better.
Guy was awful.
Oh, Elisha Cook Jr. Oh, he was great. Like
I know, but
he's great and awful.
Yeah,
it's like he's so, and that he's a smaller guy. He's more diminutive. He was in Maltese Falcon.
Yeah,
he's the guy that like Humphrey Bogart just takes his guns away from him and stuff. And of course, and he was in Shane. Shane is the big role that I remember. He's been in a million things. Don't get me wrong. The guy's like, he's one of those. He's like that guy, But I love that part where like he kills the other dude and he comes out and he's like mortally wounded,
right?
And he's like, I forget her name.
Shot in the face.
Yeah, he got it
Vera.
was a shot.
Vera?
Yeah, Vera. Yeah. And he's been shot. Like it was a shotgun, so it's probably pellets or something. And so he's obviously moments from death anyway.
That's the other shot when he falls.
Oh yeah.
And the parrot cage falls.
Oh yeah.
Parrot cage hits the camera. Like
so good. It's just everything he does in that. It's like I said. I know we've kind of spoiled The Killing, but go check it out.
I mean, how old is it?
It's a movie that I would expect a lot of people want to have seen, even people who like movies.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be. That's one of those. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you know Kubrick, you know The Killing. But when people mention Stanley Kubrick, they think The Shining.
Right.
They think 2001.
Right.
And they maybe think...
Lolita.
Yeah, Lolita is another one. And they think, what do you call it? Vincent D'Onofrio. The war movie, the Vietnam movie.
Oh yeah. What's that movie?
God, I'm
What's
totally-
wrong with us?
I'm
Oh, getting
totally
old
blanking.
sucks.
I know, man.
This is awful. What is that
Yeah.
movie?
It stars Arlie Ermy as the thing.
Come on. I
is-
can see it. I can't see it because I can't read.
Okay,
But
it's,
what?
hold on.
Come on. This is ridiculous.
This is pathetic.
No, this is pathetic.
You gotta edit
No
this
wonder.
part
No
out.
wonder we only have 12 viewers. This
People
is
are-
ridiculous.
people are yelling.
No. This is
people who've made it
nobody's
this
yelling.
far.
They don't. They're not even watching us.
They're going.
Shoot,
You
what
guys
is
are
it?
idiots.
Come on. Something. What?
It's. I keep wanting to say Dogs of War, but that's Christopher
No.
Walken and Tom Berenger.
Come on. It's more obvious than that.
Jesus Christ.
This is awful.
Came out in 1986. Yeah, made a movie.
Come
like-
on, Matthew Modine.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Thank God IMDb. Oh, it just went away. 2001. Barry Lyndon. Oh,
No.
Come on. It's Full Metal Jacket. Come on, what's wrong with
Okay,
you?
this may be the last episode ever, guys. We may have to
This is
turn
it.
in our movie
We gotta
cards.
quit.
We may
We're
have to
quitting.
turn in our movie
Listen,
cards.
maybe we've been at the bar too much.
Maybe.
It could be.
That's
so.
true.
All right,
All right.
so heist films.
Excellent. A great
Any
genre. A great
Yeah,
genre
it is.
altogether.
It
man.
is.
You can't go wrong.
There's heist in a lot, like Heat.
Heat.
We could have brought
Thief,
up a lot.
yeah. I
Thief
thought
is
about-
great. There's
I thought about
a
both
ton
of-
of them.
yeah. I thought about
These
both of
five I
those
thought
movies.
were just like the heist only.
They
It's
really,
the heist.
really are about the heist.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of great heist films. Obviously, like I said, Thief and Heat are the two Michael Mann
Right.
movies that instantly popped to my mind, and then I was like, man, those are pretty obvious.
Right.
I think we picked a nice list that's not super obvious
I think so too.
without doing, the French movies we were talking about.
Well, I'm going to watch Rafifi.
Yeah, that looks cool,
I
man.
can't wait to watch this. Check it out. It's on Criterion. I think it might be on the channel. I'm not sure.
I'll have to. Yeah.
Although the channel now is doing Gene Hackman appreciation.
Yes, they're doing actually a lot of stuff right. They got a lot of new, what do you call it, collections.
So maybe they'll sponsor us. We should get them to sponsor.
Yeah, we talk about Criterion and how
A
awesome
lot.
they are all the
A lot.
time.
All right, what's the next five?
I don't know, man.
Come on, it's your show.
It's not my
What
show.
are we gonna do?
You always say that.
Right.
The next five. Let me think. I'll have
No,
to think about it.
Think about it.
I
All
was focused on this.
This was good.
Yeah.
Heist. All right.
All right, guys.
Welcome.
Always.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, check out the new space. Looks great too.
Yeah.
Not that
no
you guys can
water.
see
There's
all
no
of
water.
it.
You can't see anything, but no
Yeah.
water. It's better. So
Yeah, it's good.
production
looking.
values are high for our 50 viewers.
Hey,
Production. We have high production value
they're
for the
smart
3 of
50
you that-
viewers.
Yeah.
Like I
Comments would be
said,
nice.
my buddy Judd commented he really enjoyed the last one.
Even with the black holes.
Yeah, apparently with the black hole.
Have you seen Mission Impossible yet?
The new one?
Yeah.
No, I still have to watch the part one.
Oh, you haven't even seen that one yet?
No, man, I haven't. Like I said, I'm not
you
a
got
huge.
kids. You're
I literally rented it, and I was like, Jen really wants to go see it because, as she put it, she's like, Tom Cruise movie in the summer. She's a teacher, so it reminds her that hey, it's summertime.
Yeah.
So she's
to
looking forward
admit,
to
I
it.
have to admit, as much as I love all the Mission Impossible,
Did you see it?
it's like I'm glad it's over.
Oh, really?
Because they're turning him into Jesus Christ. There's no doubt about
Yeah.
it. And the whole time I'm watching him now, because I went back and watched a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm just worried about him falling off the freaking biplane, and how can
Yeah.
he be climbing a rock like? Now I'm just not even thinking about the movie. I'm just
Right.
how is he doing that?
Yeah,
So anyway,
Yeah.
All right. So pick the next five. Let me know.
I will.
Get back to the lounge.
We'll come up with a new idea. or
Yeah,
new-
and if anybody out there wants to comment on stuff we should do.
Yes. Actually, my friend Judd did say he's like, I'm looking forward to the John Woo episode
Oh,
because maybe we'll do John Woo.
we should do a little John Woo.
yeah, that'd be
woo,
awesome.
Woo, woo. All right.
All right.
All right, brother.
All right.
By the way, he directed Mission Impossible #2,
Oh, I know.
which is one of the nobody
he-
likes it, but I love it.
That's. I think that's why he came up. That's why he commented that in the Tom
'cause we
Cruise
brought it up?
episode. We mentioned
Oh.
John Woo and the Tom Cruise.
We're so old. We keep repeating ourselves. All right. I'll
All
see you
right.
next time.
Sounds good, man.
All right. See ya.